some ways to generate traffic to your squeeze page. And so I'm going to cover several different methods that you can start using to get traffic to your squeeze page. And these could be, most of these are going to be free traffic methods that you can start using right away. And so I'm just going to jump in here, kind of some of the concepts and ideas and ways to get traffic. One of the best ways to start getting traffic to your squeeze page, especially in the internet marketing niche market, is to do what's called solo ads. That's where you're buying solo ads. So it's a form of paid advertising. I know I talked about free advertising, but we're going to jump in right away. We'll talk about the paid solution right off the bat, and then we'll get into all the free methods. But the reason I recommend it is because it's got a great possibility of a return on investment. Really kind of allows you to have, it really gives you the opportunity to, get some very targeted clicks to your squeeze page. Solo ads work extremely well in the internet marketing make money niche, but they also work well in other niche markets. So I'll show a few ways. One of the sites, there is a website out there where you can actually get, find people that actually are selling solo ads. Generally, they're in the internet marketing niche, but there are people in other markets that have lists in other niche markets as well. And so what you can do is look at Safe-Swaps is the website, Safe-Swaps, and they have a really good website as far as allowing you to do what's called adding, which is something I'll talk about here in just a moment, and then also allow you to buy solo ads. And so what you need to do is you might want to look at creating an account with them. The only catch with their service is that they do charge a monthly fee to be a member, just because they give you the ability to get access to things like buying solo ads and that kind of information. So just keep that in mind. But SafeSwaps is a great spot just because it is actually safe. There are reviews. It works a lot like the eBay system, where it's where you're getting people to review how it went. It works a lot like the forum does, and those kind of things. So you might want to look at solo ads. Now, one other spot to look at where you can actually buy solo ads. What's great about them is you could spend $50 and $50 to $100 or more, depending on how big their list is, and they would send your ad out to their list, which could be 10,000 people, it could be 15,000 people, or they'll do things like guaranteed clicks. So for $100, you're guaranteed 350 clicks. And that comes out to be like 35 cents a click or so, which in the internet marketing niche and the health niche, that's actually a fairly good deal when you consider that pay-per-click is extremely high. And it's also did do, and if you're, if you don't want to mess with Google AdWords and those kind of things, it's a good way to get a nice influx of very targeted traffic, because you want to go after lists that are in your niche market. So SafeSwaps gives you that ability, and there's actually a few other ways to find places that solo ads that won't cost you money to find them, like SafeSwaps does, but you'll still have to pay for them. SafeSwaps I recommended first. I have no relationship with them in particular, except I use their service. But SafeSwaps actually is loaded with people that have email marketing lists that you could actually work out joint venture deals with. You can do what's called ad swapping, which is where once you get some people on a list, which is why I recommend solo ads first, because you want to get people onto your email list first. And what you're sending these people to is your squeeze page. And that's kind of what the focus of this little traffic topic is all about getting traffic to a landing page, a squeeze page, which we've already discussed how to set up that squeeze page in a previous session. And so once you have that squeeze page set up where they get their free offer, where you have an incentive, an offer that's like an incentive to get them on your list, you want to send them over to, you want to get traffic so you can get them onto your email. That's the whole point. And once you get, a few hundred subscribers, let's say, a good little squeeze page would convert at 30 to 50% in that range. You're doing really good if you're getting 50+%. You're doing pretty well if you're getting 30 to 40% as well. So let's say you send one at, a solo ad and you get 300 clicks, and let's say you're on the lower end of that spectrum, you're getting 100 opt-ins to your list for $100. And you may say, well, that's not a big deal. But in reality, those 100 clicks or 100 subscribers that you got could technically generate you, anywhere from 50 cents to $1 each. At 50 50 cents per subscriber, so $50 to $100 a month. So that's not a bad investment for $100, $600 to $1,200. So you can see it's got a great return on the investment, because once you get them on your list, you can promote to them not only the first few months, but the months to follow thereafter. As long as you're giving them, promoting quality stuff, getting them good training, they're going to want to stay on your list. And so that's why I recommend that strategy to get going. And it's a great way to really build a list up. And once you get that list going, then you can kind of start focusing on what's called ad swapping, which safe swaps, while we're there, I may as well just cover the ad swapping topic. Ad swaps are basically, it's just what it is a way for people to it gives you like a booking calendar at Safe Swaps, and it basically tells you when your open dates are to email, and it tells people roughly how many subscribers you have, and it's a way to where you can choose to reject or not promote certain offers, but it's where you can actually contact people, marketers with email lists that are members of this site, and there's a lot of them, and you could say, hey, so and so, I've got a list of 300 people, and I would like to send out for you and do a match offer. And sometimes even marketers with bigger lists will promote for you, but they'll just promote to like a segment of their list that makes up 300 to 1,000 subscribers. So like let's say you can send them 20 to 30 clicks, 10% or so, of your subscriber base. So let's say you can send them 30 clicks or so, 30 to 50 clicks or 20 clicks, whatever it is, and they would end up sending you roughly the same. It's basically just how it works is they send to your squeeze page, you send to their squeeze page. The one thing I like about Safe Swaps is I like to look at the offers before I sign up for them, just to make sure they're quality. I also opt into their list at first just to make sure, and sometimes I'll unsubscribe just so my email box is not bombarded, but I'll opt in initially just so I can see what offer my subscribers are going to get, because you want to give your subscribers a good experience, but it's set up in such a good way so that you can actually integrate really well. So like let's say somebody sends you 30 clicks because you sent them 20 clicks or so, and so they sent you 30 clicks in that ballpark. Those 30 clicks, let's say you're opting in, like we talked about, 30%, that's 10 new subscribers to add to your list. So now you've got a list of 310 people, because you've maybe done some solo ads down the road to kind of build up that list. Now you can do that ad swapping and kind of keep doing that till your list grows up a little bit more. And you don't have to do an ad swap every day, but you could do 5 to 10 of 5 or 6 of those a month, one a week if you wanted to, those kind of things, just to keep your list growing, just to keep fresh people on your list. And that's what I like a service like Safe Swaps, is it makes that kind of growth feasible. And to me, that's where they're worth the $29.95 a month you pay, and those kind of things. So I find them very, very valuable as far as that goes. Now, since I've talked about Safe Swaps and you're thinking, well, that's great, but I out money for solo ad and pay for them, there are other options for you to get solo ads within your niche. So you can go to like buy solo email blast. Let's see, let me look up excuse me, a few other solutions first. But the Warrior Forum, they also have some options that you can go with. They're kind of limiting more the solo ads, but there are still places you can go on warriorforum.com. So we'll just click on that, and it'll take just a moment to load up here. And so you'll just want to look for this section down here in the Warrior Forum. Let's see, the Joint Venture Forum. Let's see. Okay, Warrior Joint Ventures. You can find certain arrangements where you can actually partner with people and kind of work together. And so you can look for, do a search for solo ads if you wanted to, and you could find possible people that are doing things like that. So like for example, I just went to the joint venture, and this person's doing ad swaps and solo. You can find people in the Warrior Forum. They'll tell you what niche they're with, those kind of things. One positive thing in the Warrior Forum is if people didn't have a good experience, they're going to post below if it was a bad experience. So you do want to be cautious when you're doing any kind of solo ad, of course, because you don't want to be hung out to dry. So you do want to read reviews first. You want to make sure that you keep certain things in perspective. Like, for example, if somebody is offering, like, let's say, for example, 50,000 plus email list, that sounds great. That person has a huge list, and they're guaranteeing 500 to 1,000 clicks, which is a lot of clicks. But what you want to look for, and I'm not saying anything about this offer here, what you do want to look for, though, and check up on is the price that's selling that solo ad for. So you want to be cautious and make sure that they're not selling it for really cheap. Because if they have a list that is that big, they shouldn't be looking at selling a solo ad, for that, honestly, for that cheap. So let's say they have a list that big, they're probably going to be looking for between 100, 150, maybe even 200 for a list that size. So just because they have a huge list and a low price, it doesn't necessarily mean they're good, because if they have a good size list, they're not going to charge you a low cost price. But that's why it's good to look at people who have a list of 4 to 10,000, smaller list size. Sometimes they can send just as many good clicks, if not better clicks, and you get a better, better investment on things. So let's just go back here to Google, and we can look up some other sources you can go to. Another site, it is a paid for site. The Warrior Forum is free to take a look at and see the options, but it's called the Directory of eZines is another place to consider. This is a paid solution, though, but the Directory of eZines actually has a very well put together database and list of various niche markets, even golfing journals and places like that, where you could actually find opportunities to, you can even do things as simple as write an article for them, and write an article on your niche market, whether it's internet marketing, golfing, weight loss, fitness, whatever it is. If you find a database in there and they allow this, you can actually write an article and submit it to them for possible inclusion in their newsletter. I know a great marketer named Stone Evans, who's been around a long, long time. That was his big strategy, was to do these kinds of articles, and he still does them, where he writes these articles and he will actually get them published in these e-newsletters. So he writes a quality article. The e-newsletter person says, hey, this is great because I've got good content for my list, and at the end of the article, of course, all the action units that says, your name, John Smith is the, is the author of this website. You can check out more information on hitting the golf ball better by clicking on this link, and it'll take them to your website where they opt into your list to learn about hitting a golf ball better, and boom, now you can sell them your product, or you could sell them an affiliate offer, things like that. So it works really good because they may have a list of 10,000 to 15,000 people. They're going to send your article out to their list because they want to give their list good content that they didn't have to create, and in doing so, it gives you some good traffic as well. Directory of eZines gives you that ability to find people that will accept articles. It also opens up the door for possibility of contacting them about ad swap, joint ventures, because all their contact details are there, and they do a good job of cleaning out the database on occasion. And then the other thing that Directory of eZines allows you to do is, of course, buy solo ads. So they'll tell you how much it's going to cost, to run an ad in there in these various journals and stuff. So they're a good option to consider as well. They do cost money for that, and you're probably wondering why some of these solutions that are out there to help this cost money. And the big reason is because there are a lot of junk solo ads out there, and so these sites have realized a niche, like Directory of eZines and Safe Swaps, and the Warrior Forum has a good listing for people as well, especially Directory of eZines. They've learned that people have a hard time finding quality people to buy solo ads from and those kind of things. So Directory of eZines is great for finding niche solo ads as well. So let's just go here and leave page. So we'll go back to Google here, and let's find some other things. So let's say you have a health product, or let's say you are in the fitness niche. So let's say you could do, in quotes, the phrase buy solo ad, fitness niche, and you could find some possibilities of places that'll let you buy a solo ad in the fitness niche market. So you can kind of do some Google searches, looking around. Now this is, kind of one of those methods where you're going to get different results in Google, so you just want to be careful who you come up with. But one of the better ways to go about it is to go out to ezinearticles.com. So go to ezinearticles.com and do a search for articles in your market. So let's say that you are in the financial market and you are looking for, let's just say general finance. And inside here, let's just click on a certain article, and it's going to pull up the author, David Michael L. I have no clue who he is, but there we go. And this is the link he's going to send me to. This is the link in his resource box. And so what I'm looking for is to see if this individual, and I apologize for the language on that website, but what we want to see is that that person was building a list. I'll find a little better example here. So let's go here, and let's just find another slightly different niche market. So let's say somebody is health and fitness. Those people tend to build a list. So let's go to weight loss. And really all you're looking for is somebody that, sending people off to a page on their website where, you can see that they're list building with. So I just typed in health and fitness, or clicked on that. Let's see. So here's a link to this person's offer. This would be, if you were in the first aid niche, but you'll notice he's not trying to build a list here, so we'll move on to somebody else in the health niche. What we're looking for is just somebody on Ezine Articles and one of the major article directories that is list building. You just want to look for somebody that looks like they're list building so that you can approach them about doing a solo ad or an ad swap, and that's why we're doing this. And this is exactly why it's better to use certain services like that, because over time you're going to save a lot of money by going with those kind of services. But here's one, affiliate marketing basics. Yes, they're probably trying to build a list, but maybe not. So we'll just click on that and see, and bingo, we've got somebody that's building a list here. So what you want to do is, if you can't find their information as far as their contact information, you may want to check out like their privacy policy, because a lot of times that will list their direct email address in there. So like this one, for example, they've got their email right here, and their phone number even is included. So you could actually contact this person by email and say, hey, I noticed that you're building a list, internet marketing niche. I would be interested in paying something of value to your subscribers, and that something of value would be your free offer that they get for opting into your list, and you could see what they would charge you to do a solo ad. And so some people may turn you down, some won't. The thing is to just stick to it and look for that, and then once you get a list going, you could actually approach them about doing an ad swap as well. And so, that's definitely something for you to look into. And so you noticed how simple that was. You're just going to Ezine Articles, looking for people in your niche, and you just want to browse around till you find an author that appears to be building a list up, because then that means they've got an email themselves that you could probably work with. This same approach that I'm doing right now, just so you're aware, is a great way to find joint venture partners in your niche market that you may not have known about as well. So that's definitely something to also consider. So let's take a look here. And here is another article. Like this one is about government tax relief debt. So that's not necessarily something we'd be interested in. So, but you could, if that interested your niche, then you would go after it that way. So that's one of the other methods I had, was to use Ezine Articles to come across people that you could approach in your niche market. Another thing to do is to go to Google and run a search for, run a search in Google for like a blogger in your market as well. So somebody that, that you could, that would be list building as well. So you could find, bloggers that way. So you could do make money online blog if you were looking for somebody like that. And let's see here, you could find, various people that come up. So And most of these people are trying to build a list. You know, you'll see that. Boom, if you get a pop-up, then there's somebody you could contact. You notice, you know, a lot of them have an About Me page. They've got a way to contact them as well. So it works out great. So that is also another solution to consider, is look for bloggers in your niche market. So you could look for fitness blog, those kind of things. Acne blog, if that's one you wanted to do. So let's see here. Here's a list of the top 50 acne blogs. I'm just doing searches here in Google just to show you guys how this would work. But this is to come across people that you could do joint venture relationships with, you could buy ad swaps, you could sell ad swaps with. And finally, one of the last steps to do in Google, it's really cool, is do this search string in quotes. Do a quotation mark, your privacy is protected, or your email is safe, something like that. That'll also work. And then put in like your niche market. So what that does here is it's going to pull up websites in the golf niche market of people that are more than likely doing some sort of list building in there. You could also pull it down to you know, like Aweber or even Get Response, because that would typically show up there. And so that'll pull up various people, you know, that are probably trying to list build with that. So let me pull up a better example here for that.